Good morning and welcome to the St Paul's Enterprise in the Community program. As the Assistant Principal of the College, I would like to welcome you all to our community here today. Specifically, I'd like to welcome from the 7 Miles Venture Lab, Greg Tremlow and Mitchell Philby, and I want to thank them for this opportunity. I would also like to welcome Julia and Dragon from Tinker Tank, Adam from Go Tradie, Matt from I Measure You, and Jonas and Tim from Edge Environment. We all appreciate the time you've taken today to work with us, with the youth of Manly and our local community. However, before we begin, I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the land upon which we sit today. The land belongs to the Gayamagal people. They are our traditional owners of this land. We pay our respects to them, the past and the present. May we walk peacefully on this land, working together in peace and harmony. St Paul's students, you are here today as you have been selected for your interest in business, your communication ability, and your teamwork skills. You are a diverse group of young men, and I'm sure you are looking forward to working in a project-based learning environment with businessmen in our local community. I am confident that you will bring your best to this opportunity, and I wish you all the well, and enjoy the experience. Thank you.
Thank you also, Deputy Principal Karen Shawcross. Here she is the leader of Community Partnerships and Pathways at St Leo's Catholic College, and she was one of the group who agreed to go ahead with this program. A big thank you, as I said, to the students and particularly our business owners who are very generously giving their time on the basis that they want to give back and to help the young people of our community. And so today we are launching what we're calling the Enterprise in the Local Community program. That's not my name, it was given to me by New South Wales Education, and I do want to congratulate the department and in particular Peter O'Doherty. Peter's not here today either. Peter is the Senior Project Officer, Regional Industry Education Partnerships. That's Peter's role, and both the department and Peter, I think, very innovative and forward thinking to work with 7 Mile to run this program. And you'll be pleased to know that this is the pilot program, gentlemen. So you're part of a rather large test, but it's going to be fun. It's a simple process. We've got student teams are embedded with a particular business owner. All 4 business owners here today are based here in Manly, which is what we wanted to do, connecting our community with our business people. And they're going to explain to you a little bit about their business and the fact that they have a problem, they have a challenge, and they want help to get a solution to that challenge. And that's your job over the next 8 weeks. We'll be working with you to apply your creative thinking to devise, firstly, potential solutions, and then finally to recommend what you feel is an optimum solution for the business. That journey that you're going on, don't worry, you're not alone. You'll be supported by, as I said, Mitch Philby and myself. We're both directors at 7 Mile. We've got 1 or 2 years of business experience between us, and we will be working with you across that 8 weeks to help you and to help you get ready for the ultimate event, which is a pitch day or a presentation day, where you will be standing here presenting to the business owners. You'll notice that we are filming today's event, so it's important to note that you'll be, part of this project. You'll be recorded from time to time, etc. And some of the coaching sessions we have with you will be filmed also. And that film is made possible by this fine gentleman, Catalan Anastase, and his company is Luna Media Productions. And he's very kindly devoting his time and his technology to help us record that video. And so creating a film of this journey, your journey of working with us and vice versa, is an integral part of the program. And it's integral because we want you all to have a record of your work and to be able to show it to friends, family, potential employers and be proud of your achievements. So our primary goal is for students to gain valuable insights into the business they're assigned to and to also develop an understanding of how to go about analysing a problem. We want you to then be collaborating to develop solutions and for the team to agree together on the best solution, and finally learn how to go about presenting that to the business owners. In a sense, you're kind of going to be standing here selling your solution to the business owners, and that we think is a great opportunity. We also are conscious of developing pathways beyond that final event. So what we don't want to happen is that we work together for 8 weeks, you come up here and give a great presentation and then everything stops. So we envisage there could be pathways between you and the local businesses, and 7 Mile Venture Lab also has pathways for young people who are particularly interested in entrepreneurship and want to take it that next step. So there'll be opportunities beyond the final event. Okay, well thank you for allowing 7 Mile and our business owners to be with you here today, and I'm now going to pass to my colleague Mitch Philby, who will do the introductions of the businesses.
Good afternoon everyone. How is everyone this afternoon? Yeah, good, very well. I'm going to do a couple of things today just so everyone knows what the process of the day is. We've got 4 breakout session corner areas, and I know each student has assigned to their teams. So we're going to, after we do the introductions with the team business owners, we're going to ask the business owners to go to their tables. And just if you want, that's Tradie, I Measure You, Tinker Tank, and Edge Environment. But if you get lost, there are posters on the tables, so you can go to those. I will introduce you to the first business today, Tinker Tank. The owner and founder of that business is Yulia McDowell. We've also got Matt from I Measure You. Matt is also right next to Tinker Tank down in Manly, facing the Manly beach. I Measure You is all about wearable technologies, basically from the waist downwards to measure, weight you carry on your body. 2/3 of injuries in sport occur in the lower limbs. So without further ado, I might just invite Yulia first to come up and talk about her business.
Hi guys, I'm pretty excited to be here today. I'm Yulia from Tinker Tank. Tinker Tank's been around for about 5 years now. It was inspired by my previous career, which was in science and technology, which I was an animator. So I was an animator for George Lucas, and I worked on tons of amazing, really inspiring movies like Star Wars and Jurassic Park. This was a really interesting test because we're really hands-on learning, you know, with the robotics and 3D printing. It's a lot of getting up and doing, so to transfer those courses to an online experience has been really interesting and a great challenge. So in the meantime, we've had to move, and we've moved to a great location right down on the beach. And what this has done is it's given us an opportunity to have a second room. So this space is completely not utilized right now for any particular reason. And the reason I'm coming to you guys today is to have you guys help me come up with a way to engage high school kids into the space and to really utilize this second space and dedicate it to aged kids that are around the age 12 to 16. And what we would do in that room is focus on media, focus more on computer animation, more advanced advanced design, and just see how we can come up with an idea to engage with sort of your age range. And I think that's just about it.
Hey gents, how are you? So thanks for having us in today. So I'm the founder of a company called Go Tradie. What we're doing is connecting local licensed trade businesses with people who need their services. So, I don't know if some of you, maybe mums, dads, often need somebody to come around the house, fix something, or likewise you might have brothers or dads, even mums in some cases, who are tradies and they always need to find some work. So what we're trying to do is to actually match that in the local area and make it a lot easier to find those. I've got a background as a tradie, so when I first left school, I went and did a carpentry apprenticeship for 3 years and became a qualified carpenter. And one of the hardest things was when you leave the trade, when you start up a trade, is actually trying to set up your own business. It's really, really hard to get that balance between all the work that you have to do and go and do the stuff with your hands, and then actually taking that work home of an evening and doing all the administration all the way through to getting paid at night. So what Go Tradie is doing is trying to really simplify that for the modern age and almost provide an experience a little bit like Uber for tradespeople. So yeah, really keen to kind of come and talk to you guys today, and I would have loved something like this when I was back at school, so I hope you guys are kind of really interested in being able to take the opportunity, because whoever's kind of coming to work with Go Tradie, I'm expecting you to really dig deep in the way you think about it. And one of the biggest issues that I've got from a business perspective is we actually have two sides of a market. So I have tradies on one side that we need to get to be able to use Go Tradie, and then we've got all the jobs that we need to get done, and we need to be able to match and balance these two things together. So one of the things I'm going to be working with my team today is around what happens in your school. How do you get maintenance done in the school, and how do you find those jobs? And I really want us to deep dive and to be able to come to that conclusion so we can work back. And I'll take you through the process of how as a business Go Tradie tries to work that balance between, because that really is the integral part to make any two-sided marketplace work. I mean, that's pretty much it for me at the moment. Pretty short and sweet, but yeah, looking forward to working with you guys and seeing how you go. Thanks.
How's it going, boys? My name's Matt. Before we get going, I know it's cool to sit at the back of the class, but what I'd like you to do is all stand up. Yep. And we're going to do one lap of the basketball court, okay? You go as fast, as slow as you like, but you've got to be jogging. Jogging's the slowest. We're going to go clockwise, and when you go past the corners, I want you to do a side step like you were dodging someone in rugby or basketball, okay? Go. That's, yep. Cool. Sit up the front, guys. Sit up the front, guys, if you can, so you can hear. Okay, thank you. So show of hands, who knows what a Fitbit is? Pretty much everyone? Cool. Who knows who Ben Simmons is? Who plays basketball? Who plays rugby? Who plays soccer? Who goes for a run? Okay, so a bit of context to why I'm asking those questions. So these little guys here are called inertial sensors or accelerometers. Who here's got a phone? Pretty much everyone these days, right? So you know when you've got your phone up that way and you turn it that way, it's an accelerometer that works out whether to put you in portrait or landscape mode. Same kind of technology in here, okay? Except with these guys, we strap them around the ankle, both ankles, like so. And then every time an athlete or a patient or any person's foot hits the ground, we know exactly how much force is going through that person's leg, okay? So now why would that be important? And so the reason I asked you guys all to jog around the perimeter is if you had a Fitbit on, you might have done like 100 or a couple of hundred steps, right? Within about a 10 to 15% accuracy, which is fine, right? And Fitbits are mainly used to kind of keep people motivated to exercise. How many steps did I do today? But they're about a 10 to 15% error rate. And you don't really know how much force you've hit the ground. So when you were running along the sides, do you think you had more or less force in the ground than when you did a sidestep, when I asked you to sidestep? So what these guys do is help coaches, doctors, physiotherapists understand how much force their athletes are putting into their limbs when they're doing their rehabilitation or when they're playing the game. So we have about half the NBA as customers. So the NBA is the biggest, basketball competition, biggest league globally in the world for basketball. And a fair few of those guys get injured. And most of those injuries are in the lower limb. So we can tell coaches and athletes the impact of every single step. So when someone does get hurt, let's say it's my right knee, right? I'm going to be far more loaded on my left as I do my rehabilitation. But as a coach or as a rehab or as a physiotherapist, I want to bring someone back to what they call symmetry, right? So my left is loading the same as my right. And through these little guys, we can help solve that problem. So that's the problem we solve, right? It's called lower limb load monitoring and helping people come back from a lower limb injury. And I guess that's what the product does, but the problem that I want you guys to help me solve is how do I get a school like St. Paul's to invest in a technology like this? What do we need to do for a school like this to even know about our technology, and B, invest in it to help their students have less injuries or recover in a safer way from those injuries? Another kind of, I guess, almost coincidental, the fact that we're in a basketball court, like I said, we've got half the NBA. I talked about GPS before. GPS requires a signal to a satellite, right? So indoors, it's very hard to use GPS because the signal's just not good enough. Outside, fine. And so what we've found is a lot of basketball teams in particular, or court sports, are using these sensors not just for injuries, but for actually monitoring how hard the practice session was or how hard the game was. So maybe that's an opportunity for you guys to think about, well, how important is basketball to this school? Who would we need to go and talk to find out whether injuries in basketball or monitoring basketball training and practice is a problem for us? So that's kind of setting some seeds into how we might go about this. So we've got some lower limb load monitoring technology, wearable technology, and we want to try and sell it into St. Paul's and other schools around Australia. So how would we do that? So that's the problem, and I want you guys to help me solve. All right? Cheers.
So I'm with Edge Environment, and I'm going to introduce a little bit what we do, and then I'm going to hand over to my colleague Tim about the specific question we have. But first, just to understand where you sit, does anyone know what a sustainability consultant do? All right, then we take it back to basics. So we have Australia's largest sustainability consultancy is Edge Environment, and we work with clients like Harris Farm. They engage us to work out how they can be more sustainable around the packaging they use on the products, and even how the products that you buy at the supermarket, how they're made, and what the environmental and social impact was of the stuff that we consume. We also work with companies like Keep Cup, when you get your coffee cups, to see how they can be even more sustainable and reduce all the waste that we produce when we have our lattes and so on. Maybe you don't drink too much coffee yet, but we also work on projects that you see around Sydney, like the rail lines, the Sydney light rail at the CBD, and some tunnelling and road projects, to work out how these infrastructure assets can be more sustainable over the next 50 to 100 years. So make sure that they are adapted for the economy and the society that you want to live in. We work with essentially all different sectors in the economy. So one day you work with telecom businesses like Vodafone or Optus or Telstra. The next day you work with chicken producers or building product manufacturers. So our work spans pretty much all the organizations that you can imagine. We have our office in Manly, as mentioned, and we have an office in Melbourne as well, and Adelaide, and one in Santiago in Chile, in South America, and where we do a lot of work with retailers and winemakers over there as well. We have about 40 people working as with a full-time profession being sustainability, essentially trying to make businesses and organizations work more sustainably, meaning using less resources, emitting less greenhouse gas emissions, saving water, creating better places to work and healthier environments. So that's what we do. And it's quite a fun topic to be in, a fun business to be in at the moment, because there's a lot of urgency. You read about it in the news every day, about climate change, I'm sure, around the bushfires, around koala habitats that's been on the news quite recently, and more issues around our global supply chains as well. We get more and more understanding about where stuff comes from that we use in our daily lives, and what actually is the environmental and impact on people from the stuff that we consume. So that's what we do, and Tim and I thought a bit about how we can make this applicable in terms of a problem that you can help us with. So I'll hand over to Tim, and he will reveal the problem.
Thanks, Jonas. G'day guys, thanks for coming out today. Appreciate you coming along and looking forward to working with you with these challenges. So yeah, as Jonas said, we work in the sustainability space. We're looking to reduce the impact of our society. I think there's never been a more important time to try and do this, especially with the pandemic at the moment. It represents an opportunity for us to change tack a little bit. Schools actually represent quite a big impact across Australia. So you can imagine all the different impacts that schools have in water and waste, in energy use, etc. But we've actually found it hard to work with schools directly. We've worked at higher level with state government, but we haven't managed to work with schools on the ground to reduce the impact and to make schools more sustainable. So our challenge for you guys is to understand how we might make St Paul's more sustainable in terms of all the different kinds of sustainability impacts you can think of. So we can offer some expertise to help you along, to help you measure things, but we really want you guys to come up with the plan. And we see it as a three-step process, but this is open to you guys. So number one is working out what the impacts are. So we need to make some measurements, first-hand measurements across the school to see what the actual impacts are, to quantify them. We secondly need to work out what people care about. If you work out what people care about, that helps you actually solve the challenge collaboratively. And then we want you to pull together an actual plan that you can implement here at the school, but also how we can scale that up to other schools across Sydney or across the state or even across Australia. So yeah, really looking forward to working with you all on this challenge. Thank you.
The journey that we've just commenced today is quite a remarkable one in the fact that it allows young 15, 16-year-old young men to work within an environment that is innovative, it's entrepreneurial, and it's connecting to their local environment. So today we've had 4 businesses who have come forward, have engaged young men from outside of the classroom normalities into a situation where their skills of teamwork, collaboration, communication, and listening to each other really is going to take part. Each of them has a different skill that they bring to their team, and within that team, they will be able to look and be mentored within their group by the businesses, by 7 Miles Venture Lab, so that they can in turn go out into those businesses later on, put a pitch to actually solve a genuine problem, not one that we as educators believe is a real live problem, but one that our community sees as a problem and looking for a solution. The businesses here today are working with the young men so that they can look forward to solving a challenge that they've come across that requires the thoughts of young people, not the thoughts of adults.